Hello, Linda Lowery, and anyone who else is interested in this video. Um, Linda asked me about making this tree in uh, Cricut Design Space. So um, let me just jump right into it. So basically, I use two shapes. I use the circle, which is free, and I use the triangle, this one, the slender triangle, not the, what is this called? Isosceles. Um, and of course, I can't remember the other two. One is obtuse, and the other one is something else. um, but these are the two things that I used. Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this and rotate it 180 degrees. And we can do that with our curly Q arrow here, but we can also just go right up here to rotate and type in 180 and hit enter, and it'll flip it for us. And I'm going to go ahead and turn my circle green. And I brought these in this way for a reason, because I wanted my circle to be behind my triangle in the order that they are on the canvas. Um, so whatever you bring in first is at the bottom, and then everything else stacks on top. It's not necessary to do that, but it just makes life a little easier. So I'll go ahead and turn my tree leaves green and scooch that over, and I'll come back to it. Now I'm gonna make, I'm going to um, increase the size of this triangle, but before I do that, I'm gonna make four more. So you see how we have these branches here? I'm gonna duplicate this four more times. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm over here at the top right, and I'm clicking duplicate to get those four other triangles. So I'll just scooch them over, and I'll make this triangle bigger. So I'll put it up here and then pull it out. Actually, I'll put it down here and pull it out because we flipped it over. Now our resize um, arrows are at the top. So I am just going to make this larger. And I don't want it to be this wide. So I am going to come up to size here, and I'm going to unlock the aspect ratio, or it says proportions. So I'm going to unlock the proportions, and then I'm going to scooch it in so that my trunk is narrower. And then I'm going to lock the aspect ratio. I'm sorry, I keep saying Adobe Illustrator terms, forgive me. I'm going to lock the proportions, and this will be my base. Now I'm not going to turn it brown yet because I want to bring over my branches. And I will actually, and I always do this for some reason, actually I'm going to delete these three. So I'll select them and hit delete. And I'm going to resize this triangle, make it a little narrower. So I'm going to go and unlock the proportions, and I'm going to scooch it in to about right there. I'm just eyeballing it. I'm not being precise. And then I'll lock this, and then I'll duplicate this 3 times. So 1, 2, 3. And then I will bring these over and just set them on top of the bigger triangle. Now it doesn't matter if they're on top of the triangle or behind the triangle. If Instead of deleting the 3 triangles you made before, you just unlocked them and made them all smaller. That's totally fine. Okay. Because we're going to use weld to make this all one thing. But before we do that, we're going to turn these triangles diagonally and make sure that no part of the triangle is outside of the, let me just turn the visibility off on these. Make sure no part of the triangle is outside, I'm sorry, no part of the smaller triangle is outside of the larger triangle. So you don't want this and you don't want this. You want it to overlap nicely, and it doesn't have to go exactly where mine is because these are branches and branches grow the way they grow. Okay, so I'm gonna use my right arrow on my keyboard and just scooch this over a smidge because it looked like it was sitting outside of the triangle. Maybe I need to scooch it over just a smidge more. Okay, so then I'll turn the visibility back on this one and click it, and then I'll use my rotating arrow and I will rotate this one too. And I don't want them to be flush like this, so I'll scooch this one down, maybe to like right here. And then I'll turn on the visibility for this one and I'll rotate this one. And I'll turn on the visibility for this one and I'll rotate it also. And I'm just using the curly Q arrow here. That's probably not its proper name, but that's what it looks like to me. And so now that I have all these stacked on top of each other, I'm going to select them all. And then I'm going to choose weld. And that is my tree trunk and its branches. Now, if I bring it over here and put it on top of this one, notice it is not exact, which is totally fine. It doesn't have to be exact. All, are there any twin trees? I'm not sure. There may be, but most trees don't look exactly the same. So I'm going to turn the trunk brown, the trunk and the branches brown. And then I'm going to scooch my little green circle over and pull it out. And there are my leaves. So now I have 2 trees in my little forest. And that's basically it. So again, I just use 2 shapes. I use the circle and I use the upside down triangle. And then I use the weld tool to put all the triangles together and just stuck a big old green circle behind it and decided this is a tree. So I hope you learned something, and if you have questions, please let me know. And thanks for watching. Bye.